What's going on there, guys? Good evening. It is the Earth Master here on this Monday night. It is December 26th, 2022. It's about 10:19 p.m. here along the West Coast. The latest earthquake activity shows looks like a 1.9 earthquake into the area of Alaska. Seeing a little bit of swarming out there, kicking up to the neighbors to our north. All right, real quick check here of the weather activity kicking up across the West Coast here. We got a pretty significant weather event kicking up here. A massive low pressure gradient brewing off the Gulf of Alaska. We got some pretty strong moisture flowing in here from the western Pacific. That includes areas around the subtropics as well. And all this moisture is coming into the West Coast. There's our massive low pressure system gearing up here. It's a developing low pressure system just off the coast of Oregon. This is going to bring in a substantial amount of moisture to the Northern California area, and I am excited, let me tell you. Let's go to the rain accumulation out here along the West Coast over the next 3 days or so. This is the ECMWF model showing some precipitation rates of about an inch and a half, 2 inches of rain or so over the next 24 hours. Now, the next 10 days or so shows a massive amount of precipitation out here along the West Coast, and including Oregon, Washington up here, and boy, do we need it. We haven't had any substantial amount of rainfall in quite a while, so I am looking at right now my rain gauge. It's been raining since about 6 o'clock this evening. We're coming up on over half an inch so far here in the Sacramento Valley. And we're expecting about an inch and a quarter or so by the first storm, by the time this first storm is done. But looking up the next 10 days, potentially here around Chico area, Northern California, over 5 inches of rainfall in the next 10 days. That is some significant rainfall totals. But the big deal tonight is going to be the wind. Not only the rainfall effects here. I mean, everything is loving this rainfall. I absolutely love the rainfall here, and that's kind of why I'm barbecuing tonight. I love it. But we have a significant wind event coming on tonight as well. We are underneath a high wind warning. Now, these are current conditions about 10 o'clock. Massive low pressure system off the West Coast. 84 mile per hour wind gust out there in the Pacific. This is a developing low pressure system out here off the West Coast. This is coming right into Northern California, Southern Oregon area. And right now, I got about 15 miles per hour wind speeds, sustained wind speeds on my weather station out here around Chico. But it looks like we're getting gusts out there around 30 miles per hour. This will increase overnight as we see that low pressure system develop and move inland here. Now, areas around Chico or so, it looks like we may be seeing 50 mile per hour gusts, maybe up to 60 miles per hour in some areas around the Chico area and the Sacramento Valley region. Again, we are underneath a high wind warning, so that includes gusts up to 65 miles per hour here. So don't be surprised if the stream does go down. I'm kind of prepared out here along the West Coast right now. I got the generator ready, and just in case it goes down, just in case the power goes out. I do have kids here tonight, and they're not very happy when the power goes out. So if it's 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, we got that power going out, and I fire up the generator. Oh, well, guess what? That's what time I am waking up. So if the stream does go down, folks, we will try to fire it back up soon as everything's back to pretty much stable conditions there as far as the wind speed goes. All right, either way, I'm loving it. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Let me see. Can you guys hear that? Gonna have to turn it up a little bit. That's the rainfall out there coming down pretty good right now. So I am definitely enjoying it. We need it so bad. We need it so bad here along the West Coast. Okay, starting out here on the Big Island of Hawaii. The latest earthquake, a 2.1 Pahala. Very typical movement out here, but we've been noticing a little swarming fashion out here along the southeastern edge of the Big Island. Also, one earthquake here earlier this morning. It looks like around the northwest edge of the Big Island area, 5.5 kilometers deep. A little oddball earthquake up there. But earthquake activity, for the most part, confined to the Kilauea Volcano region and also the Pahala area. No major changes noted across any volcanoes currently, at least from the USGS. All right, going back here to the west coast. Two earthquakes. And both of those were from earlier this morning. Well, I tell you what, guys. I've seen earthquakes kicking up here on the Northern California station since then. And this is why I run the live stations. I keep saying it, but there's another earthquake right there on the Petrolia station. And I guarantee you that's not going to show up on the USGS map here. So they're only putting out probably about 10% of the earthquake activity out here along the Northern California coastline. Why? I don't know. I don't work for the USGS. So it's one of those things. I'm here to report the data, the live data, the raw data shows there's earthquake activity, and they are the ones that review the earthquake activity and report it to the earthquake catalog book here that reports to the USGS website and other agencies. So, but for now, only two earthquakes, a 3.0 and a 2.9. So it looks like they're probably only reporting 2.5 and above, even though we're looking at the all magnitude map. So it is what it is, right? I can't do anything about it. I'm not gonna yell at them. Again, I don't work for them. If I did, I would definitely be making some changes there, because all earthquakes are important in reporting the activity to the public out here. Couple earthquakes down here around the Salton City area, just south there off 86. Couple ones kicking up here within the last hour. No major swarming across the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault, and literally not a whole lot throughout the Pacific Northwest showing up here, or the rest of the North American plate. We got one oddball earthquake here, and I'd like to look at the map here. And when I see this earthquake out here along this area of the Texas-New Mexico border, I think, oh man, that's an odd one. We haven't really seen any earthquake activity out there. A 3.2, 5 kilometers deep. Okay, you guys ready for this? Hold on. I'm going to make sure you guys see this. Make sure you're viewing this in the highest resolution so you guys can see what's out here. So 3.2. Ready? I've flown over this site numerous times. What do you guys see out here? Are we playing checkers? Are we playing chess? Is this just a little area where folks like to dig squares out there in the middle of the desert? Or what do you see? Maybe a beautiful swimming pool next to one of those checkers. Oh, those are wastewater injection sites out there. And there's a massive amount of them where this earthquake struck. Very close within the proximity of this earthquake today. So movement and pressure is increasing out there to the north. We've seen a lot of activity out here around the Pecos, Texas area, around Midland as well. Sometimes it takes a couple months, a couple years to see the results. And I say the results because the damage is done out there with the wastewater injection site. It takes a couple months, couple years to see these earthquakes start popping up. But I can expect here by this time next year, I think we're going to see numerous fives out here across the area of Texas and Oklahoma. Just a matter of time before some of these damaging earthquakes pop up here on the map. All right, Puerto Rico, one earthquake out here around the Cruz Bay, northeast of the Cruz Bay area, U.S. Virgin Islands area, 3.6 at 6.0 kilometers. Not a big earthquake, but a little bit of increasing activity out here. We had noticed a little bit of swarming out there in the last couple of weeks here around the Puerto Rico Trench. So activity still seems to be on the up and go in that area. South America, looks like the last earthquake here underneath Bolivia, 4.7, 181 kilometers deep into this region of the Peru-Chile Trench. We've definitely seen some activity here over the last 7 days in the deeper areas of the Perucciale Trench with hardly any movement upstream. At least 4.0, 4.5 and above, I should say, of the Perucciale Trench. So watch that area. Deep movement always tends to point towards the surface areas when it comes to plate tectonics. Earthquake activity along the South Sandwich Islands been pretty active over the last 24 hours as well. The last one earlier this afternoon, a 5.1, 10 kilometers deep. There's a big island activity there. Not a whole lot going on throughout Alaska. Movement around the Western Pacific, minimal at best. One earthquake earlier this afternoon into the Russia area. This is into the northern end of the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. We've seen a 4.4 at 188 kilometers deep. Got to watch this area, folks. A lot of deep activity over the past 6 months or so. Minimal, very minimal adjustment upstream here. So the less activity we see upstream and the more deep activity downstream here into the subduction zones, the highly likelihood of increased strain and a larger magnitude earthquake in this area. Very, very typical to see this type of activity in this region. It's been a while, definitely, since we've seen a large scale activity event here along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. So watch that zone. Man, that wind is picking up. I better finish this update before the power goes out. Latest earthquake shows a 4.4 just south of Tokyo, Japan, about 70 kilometers deep. A little bit of movement here around the Japan Trench, the Izu Trench, over the last 24 hours. Latest earthquake within the vicinity shows a 4.3. Indonesia, deep activity, 248 kilometers deep around the Banda Sea area. So a lot of deeper movement taking place here over the last couple days, regionally as a whole. So that tells us right there that we're getting geared up to see some surface activity here pretty soon in the large-scale department. 5.0 looks like around the Tonga Trench earlier today, 10 kilometers deep. Prior to that, we did see a 3.7 South Island, New Zealand, just west of the Christchurch area. Now, haven't seen a whole lot of activity here recently. 18 kilometers deep. Further west and north, one earthquake up here, way up here around the, where are we? Northern Mongolia, Russia border, it looks like. 4.4, 10 kilometers deep. Definitely notice an increase in activity out here around the Red Sea. Earlier this morning, we've seen a 5.5 and a 4.6. Northern Ethiopia, within the vicinity of the Red Sea area. Following that, later in the afternoon, a 4.7 into the Egypt area. Much further north into the Gulf area right here, just shy of the plate boundary. So definitely stretching up here pretty nicely across that area. Just looking at this activity here in Southern Cal, 1.7. So, all right, let me check out the tremor map here tonight and see what we have here for activity. 132 epicenters of tremor making itself known around the Medford, Oregon area. Now, not a huge amount, but definitely an increase of activity. Southern branch here of the southern section of the Cascadia subduction zone. This activity here is not earthquake activity, but it occurs down there about 45 kilometers or so. And this is a slow slip event earthquake into the southern end of the Cascadia. All right, Yellowstone National Park shows not a whole lot of activity whatsoever. Things look pretty calm and clear across the area. Let's give a quick glance here of the GeoNet servers and see what we got here across the area of New Zealand. I gotta get to my barbecue. 4.1 coming up, South Island. Now the all magnitudes map here. Look, the wind knocking stuff over outside. I just heard that. 5.8 2 hours ago into the Kermadec Trench. Now, I don't see anything popping up here. And the EMSC model, excuse me, I just got hiccups all of a sudden. The EMSC model here across the New Zealand area shows a 4.0 much earlier today. But I'm not seeing anything in terms of a 5.8 2 hours ago. So that may be something that's taken place way north here. But really, I don't see a 5.8 up here. So little bit of error being reported there by the GeoNet servers on that earthquake. All right, quick glance here at the volcano drums. And, well, a little bit of activity kicking up around Taupo volcano and also around the Taranaki area, looks like. Not for sure if this is earthquake activity or what's going on here across the region, but no major swarms being reported here across the volcanic drums there of New Zealand. Space weather events, the latest activity here. We did see an M flare kick up here from a very new sunspot. We've seen an M, about an M 2.0 or so from a newly developing sunspot, 3176. Welcome 3176 to the Earth side of the sun. Pretty massive sunspot, as you can see right here. This is the one that produced the M flare. Now, looking at the magnetic structure of 3176, looks like it only harbors a beta class magnetic structure. But I think, yeah, I would say there's definitely more of a possibility of seeing some further M flares just looking at that structure. Massive coronal hole up north, 59 here. It is in position where I don't think we're going to see any effects from it, but it is a pretty massive coronal hole. But I don't think we have to worry about any significant solar weather events from that. We're still looking at unsettled conditions right now. In fact, things are pretty elevated at the northern latitudes here. We're seeing a major aurora event going on here. It looks like G1 class conditions across areas of Canada and into Alaska. So for you folks up there right now, get outside if you have clear skies. Looking pretty possible of seeing the auroras up there. Let's see what else we got. 99% chance of a C flare, M flare around 40% chance, X flare around 10. They've elevated it, but I'm not for sure why. Probability details. Looks like they put the culprit 3169 at being the most likelihood of seeing a large solar flare. 3169 is this area well off to the northwestern limb here. But then again, I don't know. It doesn't look all that complex. I think we need to watch 3176 here in the coming days for potential activity. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna get out there and watch my barbecue. Barbecuing up some tri-tip and some chicken quarters here, and it's raining again. Like I say, the wind's really picking up right now, so I got to get out there and watch things. But again, if the power goes out, folks, we're underneath a high wind warning here, Northern California. I will try to get it up as soon as I can. It could be, maybe sometime tomorrow afternoon or so. But hopefully, I really don't want the power to go off because I run a fan like literally within inches of my head, and I can't sleep without a fan on my head. That's how I've been since I've been like 13 or 14 or so. So if the power goes off, the fan goes off, instantly I am awake. And oh yeah, I heard that. There's a pretty large gust out there right now. So things are kicking up a little bit early. But again, like I say, if the stream goes down, I will try to get up ASAP, folks, if I can. But either way, it may be a long night for me because when the power goes out, I'm awake. Generator comes out, start kick it up. I'll be up all night if I have to start up the generator. So it's going to be a long one, long night ahead. But hey, kind of what I've been. This is my Christmas present. I think this is what I've been wishing for, is a significant storm system out here along the west coast. And sure enough, here it comes. All right, guys, have yourself a good night out there. And what do we got out there? Victor, thanks for checking in. I was just reading some of the chat out here along the live chat. Shout out to the Earthmaster for the live update. Thanks, Victor, for checking in. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll catch you guys sometime tomorrow. Peace out.